Hi everyone, welcome back to Window Chats with Robyn, the Instagram live podcast where I sit by my window and chat with very interesting people. Today we have Lewis Baumander. I'm very excited. Now the question is, will it work? And that is always the hardest part of the chats. So I'm hoping it does. I'm using a different cell phone in case Lewis has to call me. We're very prepared, but I have faith in him because he's been really good with technology. This guy knows how to pivot. I'm just saying. So this is the fun part where I'm like, hey, I get to talk to myself until Lewis knows that we're here. Oh, hello, Jamie. Thanks for joining. I met Jamie on Clubhouse. She's very lovely. I think a lot of people are lovely. So, oh, this is so fun. Hello. Oh, am I still doing a live while chatting with you? Lewis, this is awesome. I'm on the phone with you while doing a live. Okay, everyone is privy to this conversation, if you don't mind. Okay, so how to join is, do you see that I'm doing a live right now?
Well, I'm on my phone, and
okay.
When I touched your picture, it didn't lead to anything, and then I hit this button and I got you here.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's think out loud. If you go to, okay, so you'll have to hang up with me because you can't do a phone call at the same time. So if you go to the home page, so not my actual page, but if you click the house on, you know what I mean when I say the home page for Instagram?
Yeah.
And then you should see in the top left corner will be my face, and then it should say live underneath. So if you click that, then you'll join my live, and then I can invite you in.
All right, yeah, so that's what I saw the picture, but I didn't see the word live. Anyway, let me try again.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Lewis. Guys, that was so fun. We shared a private moment together. Okay, that was awesome. Let's hope it works. And that's why we have way too many phones in this household. Really just two. I hope my husband doesn't need his phone today. That's why you get married, people, for an extra phone. It's a side fact that no one tells you. Some people say tax breaks. I say for the extra phone and to have a reader. I'm just putting it out there. I could also be funny in my head. But let's see if we can invite Lewis in. It's a song. Da-da, everything's a song. Maybe, okay, hang on. Let's see LB. And let's see if this sends request. Okay, I think it's gonna work. I have faith, Lewis. Sent you the request. Oh my God, that was so thrilling. Hello. Okay, my other phone is off. Hi.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's weird being on this side of the equation.
I was just thinking that I'm going live with Lewis, but it's like an Instagram live, not the usual live with Lewis. So I'm hosting, and this is odd.
Yeah, it's well over a year, huh?
That was, for those of you that don't know, everyone watching, Lewis did, it was called Live with Lewis, but there would be Zooms 3 times a week. And it was just almost like a check-in, but also just an amazing place to meet awesome people in the industry. And I met so many really cool people there. Now, before we continue our chat, Lewis, I know you're not an actor, but are you okay with your lighting, your framing? You feeling it?
I'm not bad. What do you think?
I think, you know what? I think the lighting is good. I can hear you well. I'm trying to figure out, am I feeling my angles? Your hair looks great.
What I have of it, anyway.
Yeah. The makeup is perfect.
All right. I'm relaxed. I'm in. I got my coffee. Let's go.
Love it. Love it. Let's go. Let's do this. Bring out the hard questions. That was, yeah. Here you go. L'chaim. Cheers. Are you nervous? I didn't send any prep questions because I wanted to see how you were off the cuff. Okay.
No, I work best without any prep questions. Even when I do those videos with Britt, I'm never prepped for them.
Well, I mean, then I just think you have all this wisdom that's just in there, and she just says the right question, and then you do your thing.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if it's wisdom, but it does trigger. That's for sure.
But I read all the blog stuff that you're sending out now, and all the, I think you're putting out some amazing content there. And I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, well, hang on a second. I'm just going to turn up the volume.
Ooh, what is that picture behind you? I like to look at people's backgrounds.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think these latest, I mean, Britt's been after me for a long time to do these blogs. And I mean, I didn't even really know what the word blog meant.
Oh my God.
And she said, well, just write stuff down and give it to me. So I said, okay, I can do that. But I think what I finally found is you got to find, you know, and I say this to actors too, you got to find your own voice and your own way of doing things. And you can't do it the way it fits other people. And, you know, I see a lot, I mean, in this last year and a half in particular, everyone in every acting coach, every acting school, North America wide, everyone's on the hustle, you know? And I see a lot of these guys coming downstairs throwing dollar bills and, you know, flashing biceps and talking about empowerment and mindsets and great videos. And they all look so camera savvy. And I'm anything but. And so, you know, you look at that and you say, oh, I can't compete with that. But in the end, you can only be the person that you are. And so I had to find my own voice for these blogs. And I found a way of still having the passion that I have for it, the clarity that I have, and the best part, a sense of humor about it. That I couldn't quite put that last piece into place, that there would be humor about the whole thing. And so that I found it with this set of blogs, and it had a good response because they're very practical, but they're also very readable in that they can make you smile while you're learning, rather than it being this earnest kind of learning. Anyway, so yeah, we're planning the next set right now.
I love that. And the one I was reading recently, it was so you book the role and then it just instilled so much confidence. And it was, okay, you know, go on set, but also realize that things can change on set. So don't be so stuck in your ways. Yeah. And I thought that was great advice because I know me, I'm just, okay, these are my lines. I'm good to go. Oh, wait, it always changes. Be adaptable.
Yeah, I mean, as actors in class, you're perennial auditioners. You know, years ago, we had this kind of part collie husky dog, and it getting old, and she loved to chase squirrels, and of course, never caught a squirrel. And one day, I guess she found a squirrel that was slower than her, and she caught the squirrel and just had it in her mouth. And she was so surprised. She went, huh? And the squirrel scooted out and ran away. And I think actors, you know, they're working. They're chasing the squirrel, as it were, you know, and they book the gig. And then, now what? And now what do I do? And it's, so I thought this would be the night so I could have a happy ending to my story. I finish it off with The Hobbit books the part.
I also enjoy, I'm like The Hobbit, of course. Look at Lewis your own little spin on things. I very much enjoyed it. I'm waiting for, we discussed, okay? I'm waiting for your book. I just see, like, it's going to be similar to that, you know, the audition, the book that every actor owns. It's going to be that Lewis Baumander book.
No.
No? Okay.
No. It's, again, to put out a straight up book like that, I could have had that done a long time ago. No, I want to, one of the things, sorry, I got all these emails.
You're a busy
coming
guy,
in.
that's okay. I just thought you were getting in some arm exercises, and I respect that.
Yeah, what I wanted, I mean, one of the core thoughts of what I do is I say to standing on the mark or sitting on the mark is no different than anywhere else in your life. You're always here, it's always now, and you're some aspect of yourself under different conditions. So I wanted to find a way of communicating that, and that's through story. So I'm tracking my life journey and how those lessons turned into what I teach, so that the line between who I am and what I do, between who we all are and what we do, just comes into alignment. So that's a lot more intricate, weaving a story into life lesson, into acting. So that's what I'm working on. There will be there'll be a two-parter. The first main part will be, I suppose, more in the vein of those Hobbit blogs. It'll just have that kind of storytelling quality about it. And then there'll be a short part at the end, which will be the basic chord drills and the technical manual part of what I do. But that'll be relatively small compared to the rest of it.
You're a storyteller. That's just who you are.
Well, I think we all are. I mean, that's the crazy thing about it is, do we do anything else other than tell stories? So how are you? Fine. How was your weekend? How was your week? Oh, where did you go? Do we do, and even when we're complaining and moaning and bitching at one another, we're still telling stories.
Yeah.
That's all we do. We are born to tell our stories, to share. The Hopi Indian have an extraordinary expression: what all humankind shares is our loneliness, and it is the gift of the gods to be able to bridge that gap.
I've missed these, just mine. I'm like, I want to take notes, but I'm also on this live, so I'll rewatch it. I just know, you just phrase things in a way and I go, yes, Lewis, I like that.
Well, it took a lot of years to get this simple. It really, it's you got to get, it's got to be, it is simple. It's not easy, but I don't think, I do believe that acting schools at the university college level, they should all be closed down, boarded up. They're just warehouses for young people to wait so they can have a career, and it's a retirement home for teachers who aren't out there in the world.
The bold
but
statement.
I have difficulty expressing myself sometimes. So
no, that's fair. Well, for everyone watching that just got into a theater school,
these 4-year programs, you know, and how they parse it out over 4 years, and how they divide the body into, you know, this physical, like the physical, the voice, singing, dance, mime, text analysis, acting, you know, and they've taken the totality and the holistic part of our experience and broke us down into bits, which I understand part of, but where is the one that integrates it? The only place it gets integrated is when you put on your plays. But at that point, you're fending for yourself. And then you get graded and marked on your bits. Voice does voice, movement does movement. But there isn't something that integrates it. And so having a much more integrated approach is what I've been doing.
You make me feel so much better not paying for theater or acting school. I just take the classes after. But but you know, when you're saying that, like I went to school for physiotherapy, and you break down different areas, but it's really true. The only time I fully learn is when you're going on a placement or you're actually in the job and then integrating all those skills. So I very much see where you're coming from. I just don't think anyone's ever been so bold to say that on my live. So Lewis, whew.
Well, as I had an older actor who I worked with a lot, older, my age, so relatively young.
Right.
But he said that I'm becoming the Larry David of acting coaches.
Oh my gosh, I totally see that.
Which I kind of thought was kind of cool because I love Larry David. But it's just reach a certain point where what are they going to do to come after me? You know, like, like I don't. I'm near the end anyway. You know, so it's not like I have to worry about what people are going to think of me or say about me anymore. So I have that freedom, which I didn't feel like I had, years ago, where you had to make nice to everybody and everything. Age has certain privileges, and one of them is I really don't give a shit. I mean, I care, but I care about real things. I care about real things, and we're in the truth business. We're not in the bullshit business. Yet some of it is just helping us become better bullshit artists rather than better truth tellers. Mm-hmm. And this is somewhat problematic.
Absolutely. I'm just so entertained with everything you're throwing out, though. I'm like, it's true, though. I don't know what anyone could do to you. You seem like the untouchable. Yeah. Here are my
listen,
thoughts.
You start to say that and hubris kicks in, and I'm sure we can find something, it's not, but you accept the flaws of it, like, so, yeah, there's nothing perfect going on here. One of the things when the way social media is constructed, there's the sense there's all these perfect lives out there. And you have to remind people, wait, that took 10 photographs to get that one, or maybe more. And I'd say picture people 3 minutes before they go online or take that shot, and 3 minutes after. And you got fucked up life, I'm together, and fucked up life again. People just don't have that much together. A few minutes before we started, I couldn't find the email. I left my key to the office or to my studio in the car. So I had to find the spare. I found the spare. I came in here. I couldn't find your email. Then I clicked on the wrong button. So I'm just a pathetic little mouse figuring shit out, and then boom, I'm here. And now if someone tunes in, I look like a guy who's got it together. Yes, I am focused and I got it together under this condition. And it can look pretty cool, but, a few minutes after, a few minutes before. And it's just the illusion of perfection. And that's one thing. But where I get outraged is in those who are selling the notion that there is such a thing. Mm-hmm. so I noticed the word empowerment is gone. It's kind of vanished. Empowerment was just a Google buzzword that became very useful and popular, and everyone was empowering everybody. But now that everybody was empowering everybody, if everyone's empowering everybody, then there's nobody left to be empowered because we're all empowered. So how are we going to sell it? Mindset, that's it. We'll get rid of empowerment. Now we have to find the right mindset. It's just another bullshit term that's basically saying, from way back, chill, don't take everything so personal. We used to say stuff like that, but we can't say that now and make money. So we've got to cover it up with empowerment and mindset. But, and when people who are supposedly in the truth business are using a manipulative AI soft thing to do what they do, then we got a problem. And look, I'm as guilty of it as anybody else. My only saving grace that keeps me from burning in hell is that I'm open and I declare, what it is. And yes, I have to play this game as well as everybody else, but I try to do it in an entertaining way by not over selling perfection, but it's really marketing is all about telling stories, but it's taken this beautiful thing that we used to do around the campfire in ancient days of telling each other our stories into taking a story and manipulating a narrative in order to acquire things from other people rather than to share with other people.
I can see. I mean, I know what you're saying. I just think when it comes to marketing, it's hard, especially with I think your studio is doing such amazing things for actors. And you keep, even since the pandemic, you were one of the first studios to go online. And then you always offered those free workshops. And like I wrote monologues with you. I met some amazing people. I saw such amazing actors do their work. So I think you bring so much value to what you're doing. And I know it's awkward because like advertising nowadays it is what it is. But I think it's a sense of knowing that you're worth advertising. So sometimes you have to do it, I think. I don't know. Again, I'm not this influencer person. But I like what you're doing, so that's why I wanted to chat.
But it emanates from a different place. Whatever I did, there wasn't a calculus behind it. Moving Casting Central online, there was. It was very, because it was very technical, we had to find a way of making this work for casting directors in a way that was actor friendly, and we had a lot to do with how it's being done. And that was, we bragged about that. And and rightly so, we did a lot of good things there. But on the acting studio side, I really didn't do anything that was engineered in that way. I remember at the very, very beginning, I said to all the coaches, I had all the coaches at a meeting, Britt and Caitlin, and I said, okay, we got to find a way to survive with integrity. And if we can't do this with integrity, then we have to let this thing go. And that's how we're going to proceed. That's going to be our North Star. Desire to survive but the means by which we were going to do it was going to be with integrity by being who we are. And that's what we did. As it turns out, the righteous path ended up working, but it wasn't, that part wasn't the manipulation. All these perks that we are doing. We had a choice. We couldn't really drop the price of our classes. We understood that our classes were expensive, and as other studios were dropping their, we were starting to become the most expensive studio. And I thought, okay, this is a race to the bottom. And I'm not going to turn this into fire sales, that just, so the other approach was, okay, give more value. Find things that have more value that make that price point valuable, rather than diminish it in any way, shape, or form. So that's how that came about. And so it's just keeping that having that kind of clarity and discipline to live that way. Not always easy, and there's temptations, I can assure you, to do it otherwise,
But I almost feel that because you have that mindset, I find that people, when I would go to the classes or even online, and the people in the classrooms were just the loveliest people. And everyone had such a supportive mindset. And I think what you put out there, you get back in the people that are studying with you. I loved everyone that I've connected with through LB Acting Studio. They're just really great people.
I guess that, I don't know, I don't know how to respond to that. I think the design of this studio was designed with that in mind, that you high ceilings, wide hallway, walking down a yellow brick road, a red carpet, pathways, the Wizard of Oz, that kind of lightness of touch, that kind of whimsy. I wanted that to be the experience of an actor walking in this space. And so, that's all part of it, I guess.
It's the behind the scene details that you don't realize you're in this space and you don't know what you're feeling. And it's, well, because Lewis put a lot of thought into it, and you just go in and there's an aura and you just soak it in and you're a part of it. Or virtually, I guess,
well,
nowadays.
Thanks. Pardon? I missed that last part. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, I mean, nowadays it is virtual, but the aura is still there.
Again, whatever that is, I owe to Britt, yeah, between Britt on the creating this world, and Caitlin holding the fort and keeping the structure intact, and the coaches growing up and taking these things from me and making it their own. It all kind of makes me look better, but it's I've got a lot of people, well, not a lot, but there are the coaches, Britt, Caitlin, and they hold it together. you know.
I agree. If anyone emails info@lbacting, Caitlin is on the ball. I mean, the people that work with you, that helps you be better. And again, Britt with the social media, just everything. And look, your coaches, it's so funny. In my head, I changed my Thursday evening so I can't do my Stephen class, but in my head, Thursday night was always Stephen. And even now when I'm not doing it, I'm like, oh, Stephen's class, just such a positive environment there. And I love all the people that are there, and I love seeing what they're doing. And it's, I don't know, I just really, I'm really grateful for all of the amazing people that I got to meet through LB Acting Studio. I think you guys, yeah, I think you guys are something special. And look, all your coaches are doing such great stuff. Steve, I'm like, oh, look at Steven. He's so grown up. Although he was doing it before I started coaching with him, but you know, a little moment of pride. I'm like, I brought him to where he is today, is what I joke in my head. So
your narrative, right?
Yes, that is my working narrative. We never met, but I did. He felt my vibe as he auditioned for the role that he booked. So there's something there.
Yeah, Stephen, I think Stephen was 17 when he started with me.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, and do people know that your son is also, I don't know if anyone knows, Daniel as well.
Yeah, I guess it's Baumander, so I guess they figure that he is my son.
You never know. Could be a cousin, yeah.
And my brother, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
your
Daniel,
older brother.
Right now, he's teaching 6 classes.
Whoa.
So he's taking a lot of heat off of me. And Stephen is going to do another class to take one more off of me. But Daniel just started to, people wouldn't go away. And so that class was full with returning people. So we set up another one and another one and another one. And now we're at his limit. But because he also has 3 kids. But yeah, Dan, it worked out really well with him. And it just didn't give him, it wasn't easy for him. He spent 2.5 years locked away in the self-tape room, just running camera. And then he spent a year in my classes before he was, let me or an actor to coach.
Did you go harder on him because he's your son?
No, I don't think I'm particularly hard on anybody, really. I think I live by a certain standard, and I set a certain tone and standard, and people feel compelled to live up to that, I guess.
That's the problem,
no,
because you're so
really.
nice. I was just saying, because you're so nice and you have a standard, but it's just, when you disappoint Lewis, you just feel it and you go, oh God, I let him down. No, I'll know my lines next time, I swear.
Right. After I guess it was at my mother's funeral. I was with my brother, and I just said, I don't recall Mom ever getting mad at us. And he said she didn't have to. We just didn't want to disappoint her. So that was, it was her disappointment we didn't want to, because she didn't have to get angry. So I think maybe that
you bring
I ingested some of that.
There's something, and again, you're never, but it's just that it's this Lewis validation that I would crave, and it's so there's no reason. I mean, it should just be I'm doing it for me, but there's something I'm like, I don't want to disappoint Lewis. I don't know what it is. You're very
well. That's like that. Yeah. I don't. I don't know what to say to that one. Do we just are we just talking? Do people ask questions or?
That's fair. There was a couple comments. Let me scroll all the way back. There was, in terms of, people are kind of answering for you. This one individual, I hope it's Sean, they're wondering if your acting classes were worth it. But then real Italia Russo said yes, they are. She's learned so much. And then they had a whole side conversation. So they've been talking through whether they should study with you.
Oh, they got their own thing.
Yeah, they kind of have their own little, oh, okay, yes, I guess I will. Even though it's more expensive, it's actually reasonably priced. There's a whole side debate. So marketing is going on right now, inadvertently.
Okay. All right.
Don't worry, if there's a question, I'll let you know.
All right.
I apologize that my questions and comments aren't sufficient, but
No, I'm always, listen, I'm also used to being in charge of these things.
I know.
I'm not used to be on this side of it. So, I'm on the uncomfortable side of the power structure at the moment.
I was just saying, I love, and I hate talking about myself. So this works amazing for me because I just get everyone else to share their stories, and I'm here. That's how it works. But you know what? I don't know if people know this about you, but if I'm not mistaken, did you create a theater company near Earl Bales, the Skylight? Okay.
Yeah, in a whole other lifetime. Yeah, I built, well, not physically, but I raised at the time $2.5 million.
Whoa.
To build a amphitheater in Earl Bales Park that would produce free theater. It was there. We started that before Dream in Hyde Park, but yeah, we built that and did plays there for 12 years.
You directed over 100 plays, right? I think I saw that in your bio. That's a lot of plays.
Well, it's been a lot of years, so there's not that many plays in there when you spread it out, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've been doing it a long, long time.
For sure.
But yeah, when at the amphitheater, it's closed down now. But there's a bronze plaque on the wall that says, 1974 or something to 1998. But founding art. So it's like that guy is buried in the wall there. It's just like this plaque. But yeah, that was a whole other lifetime.
I mean, you've done what, like 4 generations of actors already?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have to figure out. I don't know what constitutes a generation. I have to get some kind of a familial mathematician to figure that out. But my first students are in their mid-50s now.
And your first students at your studio, or were you at
No, when I started teaching. Yeah, the first students were, I started teaching at the Leah Poslan's Theater School as part of the Koffler Center for the Arts. That's where I started. And so those students are in their mid-50s now. So I don't know how to, but is that 4 or 5 generations? I don't know, but they're in their 50s. Again, if anyone knows how to measure generations, but it's 4 or 5, something like that. Yeah.
That's impressive. Do you have a favorite like coaching story, teaching story, or is it kind of you just love working with everyone? I like to put you on the spot and make you think, and then I will address.
No, there's a few of them. Well, 2 of them go way, way back where kids taught me a lot. So it was one of those summer grant things where in a park where I was like, that I just worked with like 20 kids and they rotated to different activities. And so what I did is I went down to Goodwill. And in those days, they sold clothes by the pound. And I just went with the guy who was running it, and we filled these big bags of just the weirdest clothes and stuff for the kids to just dress up in, right? And amongst them was 5 beautiful little yellow raincoats with rain hats and boots. I don't know, they ended up at Goodwill. So anyway, we grabbed those. And I had this big center circle with all these clothes, and the kids would dress up, and I'd set little scenarios for them, and they'd be in their different little pockets, and I'd go around and work their little stories. Anyway, there were these 4 or 5 kids in the raincoats, and they had this, they were lost at sea, and they had to, it was a rainstorm, and they had found their way in an island, and anyway, that was the storyline. But it was a bright sunny day. And so and they looked over, and they had taken off their raincoats, hats and boots, and they were just kicking around the ball. So I thought, these kids are just not concentrating. And I went up to them and I said, kids, we were doing this activity and now you're not doing it. And they looked at me like very confused, and they said, no, we were there and then the sun came out. So we took off our coats and started to play. So they were still in it.
That is...
You see, the line between, and that's that lesson that they taught me that day, that line between this and that, and to get back to that effortless movement between realities. And the other one from the same period was, there was a book called, I can't remember, but it was by a woman named Viola Spolin, and it basically took Stanislavski and the method. And it was a really thick book, and it was one for, so I didn't know how to teach way back when, so I got the book, and one of the things you do is you have to tire them out. You got to take that energy and get rid of all that before you can concentrate. So they say, play a game of Simon Says. So we're in this big gym, and I got them running from corner to corner. Simon Says jump, Simon Says spin, Anyway, I got them going, and I don't know why, I just went faster, and I said, and Simon Says stand on your head and spin. And screeching sneakers and like that, except one little kid who had been doing it, he got up in his head and he did it. Yeah, and it was like, okay, so 25 kids went, impossible, but one kid didn't think about it.
Well, I mean, look, you got to do what you got to do to win Simon Says. I got to respect the hustle.
So that was another, one of those key stories, like just about, see, it's those kind of stories. It's those stories that will make their way into the book.
Love that.
About the process of evolving to wherever it is that I am right now.
Well, I mean, that whole story too, right? It's just not overthinking it. And yeah, okay, let's just do it. Don't tell myself I can't do it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Miss the child wonderment. All right, I have some questions from the viewers. Stephanie wants to know if classes are still going to be offered online or returning to in-class only. I thought it was both.
Yeah, I think we will, even when all of this is over, there will still be classes online as well as in studio. Partly because we have a number of students now from across the country. There's one from England, there's one from Chicago, Atlanta. So we're starting to, not a lot, but there are people from out of Toronto who are now at the studio. So we'll be providing a forum for them.
Mm-hmm.
And others will be back in the studio. As to when we set up round 4, we said that X numbers classes would be back in studio. And up until, because this particular closure was over May 20th originally. So, okay, June 6th, all right, that we should be able to get back in class. Of course, they extended it to June 1st or 2nd. So don't really, in an ideal world, they will still be going back in the studio. We'll have limited numbers. We'll be, at peak, we were, on a Thursday night, there were 4 classes going on at the studio on one particular evening. But now we'll only have 1 per night, just to keep numbers down. We'll only be working at a studio 2, which is the largest studio where we can get that kind of distancing. We got the plexiglass. We're all, legal about how to keep distances and do that. And it's still our hope that this coming round, those classes will be in studio. If not week 1, at some point. Mm-hmm. But we're dependent on the government to determine whether we can or we can't.
For sure. Gotta be safe.
But ideally.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I had another question. Tap on it so everyone can see it. Okay, this is from Natalia Bonifaz. How do you think the industry has changed because of the pandemic and lockdown now that everything's online? Ooh, the industry has changed. Ooh, this is, we're putting it out there.
What's happening now would have happened anyway. But it got accelerated probably by 2 to 3 years. And what was slowly changing just happened suddenly. So our world was moving into an online virtual world anyway. Because of so many international productions, casting in different cities, producers in different places, everybody being busy, traffic, the advancement in computer technology, bandwidth, just so many things were going on that was going to make this more convenient anyway. So so what's happening will never go back. We're like, if one day ding dong the witch is dead and we're like all come out of our little, and you see the rainbow, it won't be the same world. It won't be the same world. What the self-tape changed things, but the self-tape is now the virtual audition. Will they come back into live? Yes, for callbacks, certain kinds of projects, right. Some director-driven projects will want to be kinetic and live in the room. Others will like the distance. In some cases, it'll be just a question of taste.
Right.
So that part, this is our world now. But more importantly, beyond all this is how our consciousness has been altered and is being altered at an accelerated rate. And this notion of how to do a Zoom audition. You know, the art of this, really, it's such nonsense. The art of doing stick drawings is what it should be. Because there's a whole other world here. Like, just consider, you are sitting, I think in one of the blogs I addressed this, but you're sitting in a chair in your own home. And there's a thing called a waiting room. It's not a waiting room.
Yeah.
It's a graphic.
Yeah.
And your mind is waiting to go somewhere. Your body is where it is. So then there's a click, and then you're here, you've gone somewhere, but you haven't. So this is producing a what the fuck moment in the human brain. It has to adjust, because really, in effect, you're not going anywhere. They're coming to you.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming into your house. You're not going into their place. And that's huge if you can change your consciousness. We spend so much time looking at squares, like with 8, 10, 12, whatever those are, sometimes 90, 100. The human eye was not designed. Flies see the world that way. They were designed to have the world that way in honeycomb. So our eyes, the optic nerve is being altered. It's changing. We are shifting. We aren't hearing so much from a natural source of sound wave, but it's being compressed down into these little bud things we're wearing. So that means the amount of emotional data has been reduced. So we're not even getting the same amount of emotional clues from others. Forget about we can't see their whole body. Mm-hmm. But we know what tinny sound is, but it's not a natural sound coming into our ears. And even if you're not wearing buds and you're just doing it this way, it's still coming through a speaker. So that is altering the way we have to attend to things. So back to the question, although I don't think I'd ever really left it, it's just one has to have a much more deeper resonant response to it, and not keep it so pedestrian and restrictive in the thinking. It's not like this was then, this is now, will it become then again? Mm-hmm. Our very consciousness is altered. So even if we went back into a live situation, this went away, our consciousness has already been altered. And that train left the station a long time ago.
It's very true. I don't, and that's the thing when everyone goes, when things are back to normal, and I go, I don't know what that.
Nothing is normal.
Yeah.
Remember there was that for a while, people saying, oh, it's the new normal, you know, that finally went away but we needed a language. We needed something to describe it. And I think when I went online initially, it was as much about going on an adventure with people rather than, like, I didn't come online saying, here's what I know. Here it is. I came on asking questions as much as everybody else. And it was, I created kind of a forum for us to talk. And every now and again, I did have something smart to say, but so did everybody else.
But you would always come into those, and I mean, especially with the Live with Lewis, and you'd say, yeah, guys, I don't know what we're talking about today. I mean, you would have talking points to bring people in, but it was just, yeah, this came up as we're talking and sharing experiences, and let's discuss. And I thought that was amazing. I really did.
Well, it's just how I live.
Well,
It's
that's the
not
thing,
even,
right? It didn't come across
yeah,
as
it's
so
just,
genuine.
it's more, I can't, I don't, I never could fit into the box. I couldn't draw inside the lines.
Make your own box.
And unfortunately, my parents said it was okay to draw outside the lines, you know? So, but it's just a way of, I made a decision back in high school when I graduated, and I guess we'll kind of end on this one. But when I, at the end of high school, when everyone is saying, so what are you going to do? What are you going to be? What are you going to do? What are you going to be? It was so much tension and so much pressure. You know, you're going to apply here, here, and here. And what if they accept you and they don't? And what about that? But if they accept you, do you have the money to be able to afford to do it? And, you know, it was, it drove me crazy because I didn't know. I was 18. What the hell did I know about what I want to do with my life? You know, it's a weird time to have to make that decision. Now, some people had a vision, and that was cool, you know. But so I made one decision. It just kind of came to me, which was I didn't want there to be a separation between who I was and what I did. I didn't want to work 5 days to get 2 days, to work 11 and a half months to get 2 weeks. That was not what I wanted. So I really just wanted to spend my life hanging out in a strange way. It was very, but so I thought, well, what could I do? And I thought of psychiatry. I thought that would be cool because then I can talk to people about stuff. I had no idea how corrupt and how the pharmaceutical companies had co-opted that once noble trade.
What do you really think about it?
But I went. I mean, the first year sciences, U of T, and I, you know, was on my road there. And then a whole series of events just kind of unfolded that led me to York University and the theater program as a writer. And then I didn't trust someone to direct it, so I did. And it just, this was hanging out, talking about life. And so that was really the only decision that I made. And everything else in terms of that just unfolded. And to that extent, I got what I wanted. I spent my life hanging out. But I didn't get stuck on this is how I wanted to hang out. And I think this is one of the, if I had to leave people with any piece of wisdom, would be, it's just a game. It's a costume and a role that you play. I'm the actor, I'm the director, I'm the singer, I'm the dancer, I'm the accountant, I'm a this, I'm a that. That's just the role. That's part of the game. That thing that you are isn't the game. That's you. And so it doesn't matter which game you end up playing. What matters is that thing in you that needs to express itself. And we come into the world, the first thing we do when we come into the world, with our first breath, we scream and wail, and we want. We want to be heard, we want. and it doesn't really change. You know, that desire to declare ourselves. So the form that it takes is just an ego attachment to a result. And so in that sense, I'm a multiple failure in a number of different categories. If you look at it from one perspective, but I don't. There was this thing that needed to express itself. It went this way, didn't work out that way. So could it express itself this way? No. Could it express itself this way? And eventually it found its way to express itself. But there was no attachment for very long anyway to the role of it, the game of it. That part's just the game. It has nothing at all to do with your life.
It's just deep thoughts. I've missed these thoughts, Lewis. Oh my goodness. I do have to I know you have to go, and I very much am so grateful for your time. There was a shout out that from Warren Lisa, the actor. I hope I said that. Oh no, Warren Ellis. Oh my gosh, I'm blind. Warren Ellis, actor, that you directed Keanu Reeves in Winnipeg. So I think that should be part of your Hobbit series. And there are some other questions that I apologize we just don't have time to address. But I do want to do a plug for you as well. You are doing.
Don't worry about the plug. Let me use the time to answer a question.
Oh, okay. You don't want to talk about ideal reels? I think that's so cool.
No, let's not. I don't want to do a promotional thing.
Oh my God, Lewis,
I'm here to answer people's questions.
Much. Okay. Oh yes, Stephanie is very grateff for the online because of the Sudbury location. Of course, Stephanie. Let's see. Ooh, this is a heated one. You do acting lessons 1 to 2 times a week, right, Lewis? You're still teaching?
I am less than less, but I am.
I'm the day I thought you were going to retire a couple of years back. I'm like, no, I still have so much to learn from him. Don't go. That was the interview.
No, I don't. There won't be retirement. It's just it's shifting. Like I'm doing more writing. There's the running of the companies. There's grandchildren. There's a number of things. But between Daniel, Stephen, Jacob, Michelle, Holly, we're in there. The place is in good hands.
I think I've worked with everyone but Holly. Does she do the younger classes?
No, she's in Vancouver. She's only doing privates now. Yeah, she's been with me since she was 13. I think Jacob is the youngest. He started when he was 11.
That's awesome.
And Shelby, she was 8.
Oh my gosh. And they just find you and grow. And I'm telling you, you have this beautiful community, Lewis. It's amazing. There is a question about agents. I don't want to ignore it, but I feel like that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, I think if you go to the website, there is 2 blogs that address that. Mm-hmm. One, the whole issue of when is it time to get an agent, how to get an agent, and then even if you're with an agent, how to leave an agent and move on to another. So there are 2 pretty healthy blogs that go into that subject in great detail.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing, right? There's so much information that you're providing to people, and I don't know. Again, I love, one of my favorite things about this industry is just learning. And this is such an amazing time to learn from so many people that are giving their time for free. So I'm very grateful for this, Lewis. I love chatting with you. I've missed the 10 a.m. chats. I really have. It was ingrained.
So here's I will do this plug. So when people are, as part of the perks of the studio, if you're enrolled in a class, I do Friday morning, 9 a.m. Have you tried
I
it?
see what this. Well, you know
Good.
what? You're always after. No, I was joking. I'm like, but I started doing these window chats in there 3 times a week. So that's my problem. I keep going from project to project. I will probably be back at LB. So then I can come and see you on Friday. I'll play it cool though. I'll be like, I wasn't excited to be here. This is just a perk. Whatever. Oh my God.
What was that heated one? You said there was a heated.
Oh no, I said heater in terms of agents being scammers. How do you look out for that? But I think your blog would address it. I was trying to. I think that's a hard, in terms of scams in general, I think with the industry, there's quite a few scams out there, not just with agencies from what I've heard of, but with a lot of things. And I know you touched on that briefly in the beginning, but I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that now. So I just said, it's a question about agents. And you're calling me out on it.
All right, cool. All right. Well, thanks for thinking
Thanks so
about
much
me.
for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No problem. All
Have
right.
fun.
Bye.
Bye.